Hi, this is a short video to show you what this project is, changing the equipment at a site to a functional location structure detail that matches other sites of Newmont. So I'll give you a quick demo. So this is the structure of equipment that they currently have at the site I'm at. And so they have the equipment and it's segregated by functional locations, but it's just equipment, and they do have detailed assemblies attached to their equipment, but all their haul trucks and such are just equipment. So I copy the equipment information that would have their description and manufacturer model, which I have to cleanse to make it all caps and no words in the model numbers, and also no accents. So it ran a function to remove all accents and all data. So this is from my HO8 dump, so I copy that into what I want to work on. So that's these two. And so I segregate everything by manufacturer model into separate files to work on. And so now I have to find something of the same model in other Newmont sites. So I have that as a consolidated file here, and it's actually a file linked to an Excel spreadsheet as a data table. That way, as a data table, it runs extremely fast for filtering and so on. So I looked for that model and I couldn't find it. There's no other sites that have it. So I found one that's similar, that has the similar structure and good descriptions and such. And so I copied the one from another site into my example sheet, this one here, this haul truck. So it's not the same model, but it has lots of good structure, and the descriptions have been made quite nice and specific to which tires, what front, left, and so on. And this has the 2 tires in the front, 1 axle, and 4 tires in the rear. So what having this as an example does is I'm using the ref lock. This is the template that's for a haul truck, HTK0000. And that ref lock, we have a list of all those template structures. And so if I can search for a ref lock. If I can't find any equipment at any of the sites, I find a ref lock that defines the equipment. And then when I find it, I put it on this sheet. So this is that ref lock template with the generic descriptions. And this just shows where it's matched from my example. So see, even from the example from that site, they didn't use everything. And so we can look at this and have a quick decision of what they didn't use. Do we need it? And so this is the wheel and brake. They didn't use the wheel and brake as an assembly. They had them separated out. So the template ref locks just give you various options of design of your structure. So from the example that's loaded here, and from the data that's here, the manufacturer model numbers cleansed up, then the proposal is here on this sheet of what I'll load. So it's just formulas that create the functional location based on the site. So this, our site I'm working on is this one, and then it takes the haul truck, and the number 5101 is coming from the equipment number 5101. And you can do that with a formula, or sometimes I do a formula, and then if I have to cleanse it, I cleanse it. They make sure there's no duplicates. So that 4 last digits becomes the functional location, and that feeds my proposal sheet for all the substructures. And the ref locks are here. That needs to be loaded into SAP eventually. And the construction types. Now, we can't use their construction types, so we're going to make new ones, and we're identifying by the unique identifiers of the manufacturer model and what structure that ref lock or that construction type will match to. So you'll see sometimes there's duplicates because the 2 wheel rim bombs will be the same bomb. So the description is also obtained with the formula, and then all the other data that comes from the actual asset. And if the sort field data has things in it that I don't want, I can cleanse it because it's coming from the data. So in their sort field, they had the word Sandvik in there. I can remove that if I need to. We want to keep track of where it came from, so we have the old flock and all the other data from that list of all equipment, and serial number, weight, and all that kind of data. And most of the data just copies down for all the substructures, like the cost center. You see the productive unit at level 5 is the P, and the rest are maintainable structures, so that's the M's. So all these columns get copied down, except the ones that are specific just to the productive unit. So that becomes my load sheet. I can cleanse it a little bit more, like the descriptions come from the RefLock. But if my example has better descriptions, I can just make sure that they don't mention any specific model number or model number in the descriptions. And then I can put that on top of these descriptions because it's better quality descriptions. And I just make sure everything went in, everything's clean. Now this is ready to load. So I'll save that, but I'll show you where I would load it. So you don't load it directly into SAP. We load it into our database software for mass change is Reltac. And so it looks like SAP IHO1. It looks like the structures. So if I want to import that one, I want to put it inside the in this folder because it's one of those types of trucks. So I'll just show you another way of doing it. Instead of doing that kind of data manipulation where I'm finding an example that's really good and building the structure and then doing the cleansing there and then bringing it all in and then copying it from multiple equipment. Another way is I can just create it right in Reltac. If I have no examples at all and I want to do the cleansing in Reltac, I can go add new function location and it will in Reltac create a new branch based on the same numbering system. And it'll just be a one-level branch, but then as soon as I identify the RefLock I want to use, it can be expanded to all those structures. So I just need to specify the reference function location that's going to be built from. And then once I do that, then and that's the HTK 0000. So it just builds it basically everything from the RefLock, and then it can remove what I don't want. So it's right here, this field here, ref location. So it's HTK 0000. And because I'm working through a network to the database that's at the home office, it's a little bit slow to update there. So once I got that identified, now I can say what I want the asset to be, say HTK 9999. I'm just going to make a dummy one. And of course the description would be and then the manufacturer and the model, and then you can even put in the asset tag. So once I get that typed in, then I can expand that structure for all the substructures. So I just right click on that branch and build child RefLock. So that it has to save, of course, those changes before it can actually do that. So then now it's going to build that out for all the substructures. And then there's buttons, and you can use a delete key or the buttons to delete the structures that you don't want. And even after you load from, say you have that template like in Excel and you load that, and you decide you want to add more, you can just, like say substructures that you didn't bring over, you can just right click on a parent and expand that parent to all its substructures. Just building there. It's a bit of time, but once it's done, all the structures are built, and all the default values that you set up in the Reltac database are passed through all the children. And of course, if you change the numbering on the parent, all the numbering below changes as well. So all the defaults from the parent pass on, and anytime if you need to make a change to anything, and you can make that change to say an axle, and if you want that change to pass through the children, you just make the change and then there's a button here to pass that change downwards to all the children. So you can do that at any level. So if you decide you made the wrong decision for something major, like say the company code or maintenance plan, you can select right from the top level and make that change, and it will change all the children of all structures. So so that's it. That's now if I needed to delete something at this point, you can delete a structure, you can rename a structure. So the delete is you can delete key or use the button here, and it deletes it from here. But later, if you need to bring it back, like you can of course do an undo now. But if you want to bring it back later after you've done all your cleansing, you can toggle to a different view, which is the view deleted assets view. So that way you see the everything that you've deleted, so you can bring it back. You just have to select, right click, and reverse that deletion. So you recover, or you can purge it so you want it gone completely for good. So if you recover, then when you go back to the view, normal view, you'll see it. So looking in the this view, the deleted view, where you can see deleted assets, you can see things that I've done had to cleanse branches. Like we created this haul truck in 4010, and we decided not to do there because 8055 is the model, so we put it to 8055. So the functional location reflects as much as possible the model number that branch contains, and there's the haul trucks. Okay, so I'm going to go back to view and delete that asset that I just built. So in this view, I'm in the regular view, I can delete this asset. So once it's selected, select the 5501, and I can hit this button to delete the asset and of course all the children. And I want it gone for good, because I was just doing it as a demo. So I would show my deleted nodes. You can do this later too, it doesn't matter, but I just want to get rid of it now. So this is the haul truck I just deleted. So I want to purge that. So I right click and purge. So that gets rid of it completely from the database. So it's similar to SAP, the idea when you delete something, it's not really deleted. It's just flagged for deletion and people won't see it. In the demo version of this software, when your client looks at the demo version, they don't see deleted stuff. They just see the stuff that's good. So it's taken a bit to purge because it's going and deleting all those substructures. And it's gone. So I have the tech ID and all that come into the sort field and the weight and all that, the startup dates and all that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to import the one I just made. So you have to make sure that it's not open. I don't want it to be, the file to be open. And just a quick look at it just to make sure there's no problems. Like I have the model number there. That looks good. Construction type. So I just have to click on the table button here and import function locations. And you can do more than one at a time. So you can, if you have a whole bunch prepared, you can just put them all consolidated in one sheet, like one underneath another. And then when you do the load, you just go for lunch. And they're ready to load. That's the one. We're using SharePoint to store our files for backing up and for multiple people can actually view and edit as needed. So that just takes a bit extra time to download off SharePoint. Okay, so it doesn't default to one book because this file has multiple sheets. So it's the proposed one I want to load, that sheet. And so it automatically maps the fields where it finds the same file name, field name, sorry, in the column. So it maps to all those fields. The custom fields where we're bringing in data that function locations don't have or can't contain. Okay, so I want to bring in the old function location. So I just use Control D to, because it automatically will map it if it finds it. So just as the red fields are basically optional, like custom fields. So it doesn't automatically map because sometimes you want them, sometimes you don't. So I want all these fields. I just do Control D to make it map to the same field name. And that's it. The other ones. And apply.